I wanted to come up here and talk about a couple of things today. Number one, in case you were hiding under a rock, we have a mentorship program. We've been talking about it quite a bit. And one of my tasks up here is to talk about that and answer some questions. And I'm gonna veer off of that a little bit. I think you guys are pretty intelligent people. So I'm gonna answer those questions a little bit indirectly, because a lot of those questions are related to themes that we encounter in other parts of our lives. There are some of the questions that I was hearing last night. They fall into one of three categories. There are practical questions, like how do I find deals and how do I find money? There are technical questions, like what is the cap rate for this city and what's the best market to invest in? What does IRR even stand for? Like, I still don't know, and then there are strategic questions such as, is now the right time to invest? And I can almost promise you that all of your questions fall into one of those three categories about anything, whether it's mentorship, whether it's about investing, whether it's about should I get a new job, should I move to a new city, should I date this girl, should I date this boy? Whatever it is, it's going to fall into one of those three categories. But the one that really stands out, and I'll address those in a minute, but the one that really stands out is, well, should I do this at all? And if you think about any decision that you're faced with, should I do this at all? Well, what are my options? What are my alternatives? With mentorship specifically, well, I can just take that money and put it into a deal. Okay? Well, that's a solid option. Well, I got a buddy. That says, nah, man, you don't need that Michael Blanc stuff. Come over here, I'll work with you, I'll take you under my wing, I'll help you out. I won't charge you anything. We'll do it together, it'll be fun. Seems legit. And so I want to talk about each of those, as those are viable alternatives on paper, in theory, right? But let me just poke one little hole in each of those, and you can decide if this works for you or not. As far as, hey, I can just go and invest in a deal. I can just put that money into a deal. Okay. The mentorship program is $30,000. We guarantee results. I'm sure you heard the pitch yesterday from Michael, and you've had conversations with our advisors and all of that. But what kind of multifamily deal can you get into for $30,000? You got to put 25% down minimum, so that gives you $120,000 buying power. I'm not real sure where you're buying multifamily, but that might be tough. And about, well, hey, I'll get my buddy. I was having a conversation with a couple of gentlemen last night. We actually went to dinner. And when we first met, they were telling me that story. I can't see, the lights are too bright, but I'm sure they're somewhere here in the room. We were just talking about that, and they actually had that situation. And they said, well, look, I'm working with this person. They were willing to take me under their wing, and we were kind of interns. And he didn't have any time for us. He doesn't answer the phone. He's not willing to dive deep and show us how this works. He's definitely willing to make sure that we refill the coffee and run and the errands for him and all those sorts of things. But he's not actually teaching us anything, and he doesn't have time for us. And that's usually, like almost every single time, that's what happens. And take the mentorship away from it for a moment. Both of those options are kind of passive and avoiding the work. And that's really what I want to talk about today, is about doing the work. We tend to avoid doing the work for a lot of reasons. Sometimes it's a lack of motivation. Sometimes it is a lack of skill. Sometimes it's a lack of awareness. But above all else, the number one reason that we don't do the work, it comes down to one word: fear. Who here has ever been afraid? Okay, awesome. we're afraid to do work sometimes because work is uncomfortable. I have Michael mentioned, I have a podcast called The Do Zone. And I started that podcast and this entire movement because I've had more than 2,000 conversations with new investors over the years. And the number one reason that they struggle to succeed is not because I can't raise enough money or I can't find enough deals. It's because they're afraid to do the work. They're afraid to get themselves in the do zone. They're afraid to be productive. Why? Because it's hard, it's uncomfortable. I think I'm just going to stay back here. I'm going to learn some more. I think I'm going to read another book. I think I'm going to listen to 6 or 7 more podcasts. You know, I'm getting real confident in this stuff. I think I'm going to be a really good investor someday. Gosh, this stuff is hard. I think I'm going to do something else. That happens all the time. But there's a friend of mine who was standing on a stage. His name is Brandon Brittingham, and he is the #1 real estate agent in Maryland and #5 in the country for his brokerage. So he's a pretty serious guy. And he said a one-liner on a stage one time that blew me away. And he said, "The success that you desire lies behind the work you are avoiding." The success you desire lies behind the work you are avoiding. That's Brandon Brittingham, by the way. Look him up. He's a pretty cool guy. And so a lot of the issues that we're running into, the questions that we're getting, all these practical, technical, and strategic questions, a lot of it comes down to, I'm just not sure if this is going to work for me. I'm not sure if this is going to work for me. Sales training one-on-one, objection handling. There's only one objection. I'm not sure if this is going to work for me. I got to check with my wife. I can't afford it. I got to wait for some money to come in. I got to close a deal. Maybe we'll circle back in a few months. Garbage. I'm not sure if this is going to work for me. That's what you're really saying. Okay? Somebody's laughing because you know I'm right. And I'm not saying you shouldn't check with your wives, okay? Check with your wives. But that's not the reason, right? The reason that you don't make decisions has to do with fear and you're not sure if it's going to work. And so what you really need to focus on is, how do I answer this question? How can I be sure that it will work? I'm not sure if this is going to work for me. How can I be sure? Unfortunately, that answer is messy. And unfortunately, you can't ever be 100% sure. But what you can do is you can take a step. Because that learning, that preparation, all that's doing is increasing your confidence and your ability to think that you can do something, right? You can't see it here, but this stage is divided into like quadrants. And so if you were to imagine, I don't know if you have a piece of paper, you can draw a little quadrant here. And that top left quadrant, you're going to name that quadrant preparation. And you're going to draw this line on there, like this exponential curve that gets closer and closer and closer to the y-axis, the vertical one, but it never crosses it. So we've got a quadrant over here that says preparation. And we got an exponential curve that's getting closer and closer to the y-axis, and that curve is called confidence. And over here in the right quadrant, we're going to call that one results. So we've got one quadrant with an exponential curve. It's called preparation. The curve is called confidence. And then we got another quadrant over here that's called results. What's the line called? Who said that? It's called action. The line's called action. We can get as prepared as we want, and we can get all the confidence in the world. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm so ready. I'm going to get more ready. But the results are over there. And in order to get those results, you got to take that first step. For some of you, that first step might be a mentorship program. And if so, there's a really good-looking gentleman back there named Chris Roberts. He's standing next to a sign that says Client Concierge. Here in a few minutes, you can walk back there and talk to these guys. They'll be able to help you out. For some of you, it's, I'm going to submit an offer. The number one reason that somebody does not get a deal that I've seen, it's not because they couldn't raise the money. It's not because they couldn't find deal flow. It's not because they didn't understand how to put together a PPM. The number one reason that I've seen over the years that somebody does not get a deal is very simple. They do not submit offers. 100%, this is an amazing statistic that I probably made up. 100% of the people who have deals currently have submitted offers. 99-point-something% of the people who do not currently have a deal have not submitted offers. Think about that. The math on that's pretty overwhelming. And I was supposed to tell a personal story, but this clock's ticking down and I'm about to run out of time, so I'll tell a quick version of it. I used to be a teacher a long time ago. I have a degree in music, and I was a drummer. And I decided that life wasn't for me, and so I quit. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be rich. I'm going to get my real estate license. And I was a freshly minted realtor, and I got my license, and I was so happy, and I was so excited in July of 2008. And I thought that I was just like, man, I'm not cut out for this. I'm terrible. Which I was, but I didn't have a lot of help from the economy. It was cratering. Nobody could get a loan. Nobody could sell or buy the house. Everybody was upside down. And so it was just magnifying my problem of I had no skills. I had no network. I had no opportunity. And I floundered on that for 10 years. I spent 10 years in that place of, I'll figure it out. Well, someday this is going to work. I think I'm going to get this. I think I'm going to figure it out. I think I'm going to find the thing that I need. It's just around the corner. I think I'll get there. But the one thing I wasn't doing is I wasn't taking that first step. I was just thinking about it. I was reading more books. I was buying more courses and programs and listening to more gurus and following their emails and staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning and trying to keep my eyes open with the toothpicks. Getting ready, increasing my confidence. Man, when my time comes, I'm going to be so ready. But my time never came because I didn't realize I decide when my time comes. I decide that through action. I decided one day, you know what? I'm tired of this. This is all bullshit. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to stop being afraid. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do the work that I need to do to become the person I need to be. So I went and I got the skills. I found the people. I created the network. I put in the reps. And I got better at what I needed to get better at, and I started making money, like real money. And that was cool. But the most important lesson that I learned, and this is a mantra that I live by, everything that happens in your life, every single thing that happens in your life is your own damn fault. Every single thing that happens in your life is your own damn fault. And I want to make that a little less pedantic by saying, I own all of my outcomes. And you should too. The exact place that you are right now in your life is because of all of the decisions that you've made to lead you here. So if you're not happy with that, you need to start making different decisions. If something's churning through your head right now, if back to the mentorship thing, if you were sitting here with Michael yesterday, or with me, or one of our advisors, and you were thinking to yourself, this seems right, I got to figure out how to make it work, or maybe I need to think about it a little bit. Your heart's already made that decision, and your brain is messing with you. Because your brain's just trying to keep you comfortable and safe. And your brain does not know what's going to happen when you take that first step. So it's like, man, dude, maybe not now. Maybe not now. It's probably okay. We'll just do it later. My not now, cost me 10 years. No joke. My not now cost me 10 years of my life before I said, you know what, I'm not going to wait anymore. I'm going to take that step. So I'm going to help you right now, and I want you to all stand up. And I want to get the full energy out of you the first time, so I don't want to be like, what? I can't hear you. So can I get a commitment right now? I'm going to ask you to say things to me. Can I get a commitment right now that I'm going to get 100% of your energy? Yes. Oh, look at you go. Okay? I want you to repeat 3 things to me. I am not afraid.
I am not afraid.
I will do the work.
I will do the work.
I own my success.
I own my success.
Yes, you do. And I'm going to help you with that. And I'm going to make sure that I'm committed to your success. I'm going to walk right back here to this client concierge. Come say hi to me. If you join or are a current member of our mentorship program or even a former member, I'm going to personally work with you and help get you through all of your mental barriers and anything that you need to do so that you can be successful and you can own your success. Thank you.